runes have fascinated mystics, historians, and seekers of knowledge for centuries. These ancient symbols, originating from the Germanic, Norse, and Celtic cultures, were not merely a form of writing, but a powerful tool for magic, spiritual insight, and divine communication. For the ancient peoples, runes were far more than just characters on stone or wood. They were seen as keys to the hidden forces of nature, the divine, and the cosmos itself. The word rune comes from the Old Norse word rune, meaning secret or mystery, and this name reflects the reverence in which they were held. Each rune was considered sacred, a symbol carrying hidden meaning and immense power. The runes were seen as a divine language, given to humans by the gods themselves. To work with the runes was not just to write or speak, but to tap into a channel of ancient wisdom, magic, and cosmic forces that govern the universe. In Norse mythology, it is said that Odin, the chief of the gods, sacrificed himself by hanging from the world tree Yggdrasil for 9 days and nights in order to gain knowledge of the runes. By enduring this self-sacrifice, he gained the ability to unlock the secrets of the runes, a knowledge that enabled him to govern the realms, communicate with the divine, and shape fate itself. The runes were, for Odin and his followers, the keys to mastering life, death, and everything in between. Each rune represented more than just a sound or letter. It embodied a deeper cosmic principle. The runes were closely tied to the elements of nature, the gods, and the cycles of the universe. The Norse believed that by invoking the runes, they could communicate with the divine, influence the forces of nature, and even alter their own destiny. To write with the runes, to carve them into stone or wood, was to call upon the power of the gods to create and change reality itself. These symbols were not only used for writing, but also for divination and magical practices. Shamans, seers, and wise individuals would use the runes to predict the future, to call upon protection, and to heal. Carving a rune into an object or wearing it as an amulet was believed to imbue that object with divine power. The runes, in essence, became a way to channel the forces of the gods and the universe, shaping reality according to one's will. In the present day, while much of the ancient knowledge surrounding runes has been lost, the fascination with these symbols endures. More and more people are turning to the runes, seeking to unlock their secrets and harness their power. Modern spiritual practices, from divination to personal growth, often include the use of runes, providing a bridge between ancient wisdom and contemporary seekers. The runes are not just a relic of the past, they are living symbols that can guide us today. By studying the meaning and energy of each rune, we can unlock our own hidden potential, tap into the universal forces that shape our lives, and connect with the divine wisdom that has been passed down through the ages. The runes are waiting, ready to offer us the keys to understanding the mysteries of the universe and the power to shape our own destiny. The origins of the runes are as mysterious as the symbols themselves. The first known runic inscriptions date back to around the 2nd century CE, appearing in the Germanic regions of Europe. The exact origins of the runes are unclear, but scholars believe they were influenced by early Mediterranean scripts, such as the Etruscan alphabet, which was itself derived from ancient Greek writing. However, while the roots of the runes may have been inspired by other writing systems, their meaning and power went far beyond the practicalities of communication. The runes were seen as more than just letters. They were believed to be imbued with magic, their symbols representing divine forces, cosmic energies, and natural principles. The first known runic alphabet is the Elder Futhark, named after the first 6 letters of the runic alphabet: F, U, Thursday, A, R, K. This system consisted of 24 runes, each representing both a phonetic sound and a specific concept. The runes were not merely characters used to spell words, but carriers of cosmic knowledge and powers. Each rune was seen as a symbol of a natural force or principle, and by understanding these symbols, one could gain insight into the workings of the world and the universe. The Elder Futhark spread across the Germanic-speaking world, and over time, various regions developed their own variations of the runic alphabet. The Younger Futhark, used in Scandinavia, was a simplified version of the Elder Futhark, and it had only 16 characters. Despite this simplification, the runes continued to hold significant mystical and magical value, especially among the Norse and Viking peoples. The runes were not only used for writing, they were also inscribed on monuments, stones, weapons, and personal objects. These inscriptions were often intended as more than just messages. They were acts of magic, invoking the power of the gods and the forces of nature. In many ways, the runes were considered a bridge between the divine and mortal realms. Carving or speaking a rune was thought to summon its associated power and influence the world in tangible ways. As with many ancient symbols, the runes were kept secret, their true meanings reserved for initiates, shamans, and spiritual leaders. Only those with the proper wisdom or guidance could fully understand and harness their power. In Norse mythology, it was believed that the gods themselves used the runes to communicate with humans and influence the natural world. Odin's sacrifice to gain the wisdom of the runes exemplified the belief that such knowledge was sacred and could only be accessed through trial and sacrifice. For the ancient Germanic and Norse peoples, the runes were a fundamental part of their worldview. They were seen as a reflection of the order of the universe, with each rune representing a different aspect of existence. The runes were used in many aspects of daily life, including magic, divination, and even healing. By carving or invoking the runes, individuals could call upon the powers associated with each symbol to bring about change, seek guidance, or protect themselves from harm. Over time, however, as Christianity spread throughout Europe, the use of runes began to decline. The Christianization of the Germanic and Norse peoples led to a shift in worldview, with the old pagan beliefs and practices gradually fading from mainstream culture. The sacred knowledge of the runes became less accessible, and their use became restricted to those who still held on to the old traditions. Despite this decline, the runes never disappeared entirely. They lived on in the folklore and myths of Europe, and in the 19th and 20th centuries, they were rediscovered by those interested in the occult, mysticism, and ancient traditions. Today, runes are once again a topic of fascination for those seeking to reconnect with the wisdom of the ancients. In modern times, the runes have found their place in spiritual practices, particularly in the realms of divination and personal empowerment. Through practices such as rune casting and meditation on the symbols, individuals today seek to unlock the ancient knowledge and power that these runes hold. By reconnecting with the origins of the runes, we can tap into their deep well of wisdom and gain insight into our own lives and the world around us. The power of the runes lies not only in their symbolism, but in their ability to influence reality. Ancient peoples believed that runes were sacred, magical symbols capable of shaping the world around them. They were seen as tools to interact with the divine, the forces of nature, and the unseen energies that govern existence. Unlike ordinary writing, runes were considered living symbols, each one carrying with it an inherent force that could be used to effect change in the physical and spiritual realms. In the ancient world, runes were used for many purposes, from writing and recording to divination and magic. Each rune had its own unique power, associated with specific forces of nature, elements, or deities. For example, the rune Fehu, associated with wealth and abundance, was often used to bring prosperity into one's life. Similarly, Algiz was used for protection, guarding the user from harm and negative forces. The ability to understand and use these symbols was a skill passed down through generations, closely guarded by shamans, mystics, and spiritual leaders. The power of the runes was not simply about their meaning or the physical act of writing them. The runes were seen as active forces that could influence fate itself. To carve a rune into an object, to speak it aloud, or to meditate upon it was to summon its power and to align oneself with the cosmic forces it represented. Runes were frequently carved into weapons, amulets, and stones to invoke their magic and bring protection, healing, or fortune. In battle, warriors would carve runes into their weapons or shields, imbuing them with protective magic or strength. The Vikings, for instance, were known to carve tiwaz onto their weapons to invoke the power of Tyr, the god of war and justice. By doing so, they believed that they would gain courage and victory in battle, with the divine energy of Tyr guiding them. Similarly, healing runes, such as Vunjo, were used to invoke harmony and restore balance to the body and spirit. These runes were often used in rituals, ceremonies, or personal prayers, offering spiritual healing and relief from physical ailments. Runes were also powerful tools of divination, offering insight into the future and providing guidance in times of uncertainty. Rune casting, an ancient practice, involved throwing a set of runes onto a surface or casting them in a sacred circle, then interpreting their meaning based on their positions and relationships to one another. Each rune carried a specific message, and the combination of runes in a reading could provide answers to important questions, guidance for personal growth, or insights into one's fate. The act of casting runes was a form of seeking connection with the divine, with the practitioner asking for clarity or direction from the universe or the gods. In addition to divination and protection, runes were used for more complex magical rituals. Rituals involving runes could be performed for a variety of purposes: to invoke the gods, to influence the elements, to bind or release spirits, or to work transformation on both a personal and spiritual level. These rituals required deep knowledge of the runes and their meanings, as well as the ability to channel their energy effectively. But the power of the runes was not just limited to external influences. They were also used to alter the inner state of the individual. Meditating upon a rune or visualizing its energy could bring about personal transformation, helping the practitioner to align their own will with the cosmic forces of the universe. By understanding the runes, one could unlock hidden aspects of the self, accessing deeper layers of consciousness and awakening latent abilities. The runes, in essence, were a system of spiritual technology. They were a way of communicating with the divine, a means of aligning with the forces of the universe, and a tool for personal and spiritual growth. The ancient practice of working with the runes required dedication, wisdom, and a deep understanding of the forces at play in the cosmos. For those who had the knowledge and the courage to use them, the runes offered the potential for profound transformation. Even today, the use of runes continues to be a practice of personal empowerment, spiritual growth, and connection with the divine. Modern practitioners use the runes for divination, magic, and personal insight, carrying forward the ancient traditions while adapting them to contemporary spiritual practices. Through meditation, visualization, and ritual, individuals today seek to harness the power of the runes to unlock their full potential and transform their lives. The runes were not merely tools for writing, magic, or divination. They were sacred symbols, deeply intertwined with the divine knowledge of the gods. In the ancient world, the power of the runes was viewed as a direct connection to the divine, and understanding them was considered a form of enlightenment. This sacred knowledge was not accessible to just anyone. It was reserved for the initiated, the wise, and those who had been chosen to receive the teachings of the gods. In Norse mythology, the runes were believed to be a divine gift from the gods themselves. Odin, the Allfather, is said to have sacrificed himself in a profound act of self-sacrifice to gain the knowledge of the runes. According to the myth, Odin hung from the great world tree Yggdrasil for 9 days and nights, pierced by his own spear. Through this ordeal, he gained wisdom of the runes, which allowed him to see the deeper mysteries of the universe and wield immense power. This myth highlights the belief that knowledge of the runes was not just a gift, it was something earned through trial and sacrifice. The runes were not simply a means of communication, but a form of higher knowledge that required dedication, wisdom, and sacrifice to unlock. The runes were the keys to accessing the sacred mysteries of the universe, and to possess this knowledge was to be in direct communion with the divine. For the Norse and Germanic peoples, the runes were viewed as the language of the gods. Each rune was not merely a letter or a symbol, but a divine representation of cosmic principles, forces, and energies. The gods themselves spoke through the runes, and understanding the meaning of these symbols was seen as a way of understanding the will of the gods and the workings of the universe. The runes were also seen as a bridge between the mortal and divine realms. They were a means of accessing the higher planes of existence, of communicating with the gods, and of invoking divine assistance. Runes were often carved into stones, amulets, and weapons to invoke the protection of the gods or to call upon their blessings. In this way, the runes were not just tools for personal power, but sacred instruments used to interact with the divine. In ancient spiritual practices, the runes were integral to rituals and ceremonies. They were used to invoke the gods, ask for guidance, and seek protection. Each rune was associated with a specific god or goddess, and by invoking the runes, the practitioner could call upon the divine forces associated with that symbol. For example, Ansus, the rune of wisdom and communication, was associated with Odin, the god of knowledge. To call upon Ansus was to seek the wisdom and guidance of Odin himself. In addition to their use in rituals, the runes were also seen as symbols of spiritual growth and self-transformation. They were not just external symbols of power, but tools for inner development. By meditating upon the runes and working with their energy, practitioners could unlock deeper layers of consciousness, gain insights into the mysteries of life, and connect with the divine wisdom that underlies the universe. The sacred knowledge of the runes was closely guarded, passed down through secret traditions, and only revealed to those deemed worthy. This knowledge was not something to be taken lightly. To understand the runes was to understand the forces that govern the universe, to see beyond the surface of reality, and to communicate with the gods themselves. In modern times, many of the ancient traditions surrounding the runes have been lost or obscured. However, the essence of the runes, their power, their wisdom, and their connection to the divine continues to resonate with those who seek deeper knowledge and spiritual insight. Today, the runes are once again being rediscovered and used by spiritual seekers, mystics, and practitioners of magic as a means of accessing ancient wisdom and transforming their lives. The sacred knowledge of the runes remains as relevant today as it was in the ancient world. Whether used for divination, personal growth, or spiritual connection, the runes offer a powerful tool for unlocking the deeper mysteries of life. They are not just symbols of the past, but living, breathing representations of divine wisdom, waiting for those who are ready to seek their secrets. The runes are not just symbols, They are living representations of forces and energies that shape the world. Each rune carries a unique vibration, an inherent power that connects it to specific aspects of nature, the cosmos, and the divine. To truly understand the runes is to comprehend the deep meaning behind each symbol and how that meaning resonates with the forces that govern our lives. Here are some of the most important runes and their meanings, each offering insight into different aspects of existence. Fehu, wealth, abundance, possessions. The first rune of the Elder Futhark, Fehu, represents wealth, prosperity, and material gain. It is a rune of abundance, symbolizing the flow of resources into one's life. Fehu is not just about physical wealth, but also about the energy that sustains life. It represents the flow of life force and the ability to manifest one's desires in the material world. When this rune appears in a reading, it often indicates that wealth and success are within reach, but it also reminds the practitioner to use resources wisely and maintain balance. Ansu's wisdom, communication, divine inspiration. Ansu's is associated with the god Odin, the god of wisdom, knowledge, and communication. This rune represents the power of speech, insight, and divine revelation. Ansus is the rune of inspiration, the channel through which wisdom flows from the gods into the human realm. It is also a symbol of divine guidance and a reminder that communication, whether with the divine, others, or oneself, is a powerful tool of transformation. This rune encourages the practitioner to seek clarity, communicate with purpose, and trust in divine guidance. Rido, journey, travel, movement. The rune Rido represents travel, movement, and the journey of life. It is associated with the physical act of traveling, but also with the spiritual journey that we each undertake in life. This rune signifies progress and the need to keep moving forward, both physically and mentally. It may indicate that a journey or transition is imminent, or that it is time to move forward with a new project or goal. Rido also symbolizes the importance of following the right path, being in tune with the rhythms of life, and staying true to one's inner compass. Alga's protection, defense, connection with the divine Algas is a powerful protective rune associated with the energies of defense, shielding, and safety. It is often depicted as a shape resembling an elk's antlers, symbolizing strength, protection, and the divine connection to the natural world. This rune is a reminder that protection is not only external, but also internal. It serves as a shield against negative forces, harmful energies, and spiritual danger. In a spiritual context, Algas also signifies a deep connection to the divine, a reminder that divine protection is always available when we are aligned with higher wisdom. Sowilo, the sun, vitality, success. Sowilo, or the sun rune, represents vitality, success, and life force. It is the rune of illumination and energy, representing the light that shines within and without. Sowilo is a symbol of victory and positive energy, reminding the practitioner to align themselves with their highest potential. It is also a rune of healing and renewal, helping to restore balance and vitality to the body and spirit. When Sowilo appears, it signifies that success and clarity are within reach and that a period of growth and vitality is on the horizon. Jera, harvest, cycles, rewards for effort. Jera represents the cycles of nature, harvest, and the rewards that come from hard work and perseverance. This rune speaks to the idea that every action has its consequence and that rewards are earned through effort and patience. It is a rune of prosperity and growth, but it also reminds us that everything has its season. Jera teaches that the seeds we plant today will bear fruit in time, and it encourages the practitioner to trust in the natural rhythms of life. It symbolizes the culmination of long-term efforts, the satisfaction of seeing the fruits of one's labor. Awa's transformation, rebirth, immortality. Awa's is a rune associated with the yew tree, which is symbolic of death, rebirth, and immortality. It represents the cycle of life and death, the eternal nature of the soul, and the transformative power of facing challenges. Awa's is a rune of transformation, often appearing when the practitioner is undergoing a deep internal change or facing a difficult challenge. It is a reminder that through trials and hardships, we are reborn, and the difficult phases of life are often necessary for spiritual growth and renewal. Hagalaz disruption, chaos, nature's forces. Hagalaz is the rune of hail, storms, and nature's chaotic forces. It represents disruption and the unexpected, as well as the powerful forces of change that cannot be controlled. While Hagalaz may indicate difficult times or sudden challenges, while the ancient uses of runes for communication, divination, and magic were deeply rooted in the spiritual and cultural practices of the past, their magic is by no means lost in modern times. Today, the runes are once again being used as tools for personal empowerment, spiritual growth, and mystical connection. Their ancient wisdom continues to resonate with those seeking guidance, transformation, and deeper insight into their lives. In a world that often feels disconnected from its ancient roots, the runes offer a powerful means of reconnecting with the forces of nature, the divine, and the inner self. They serve as a bridge between the ancient and the modern, between the physical and the spiritual, guiding those who seek to unlock their own potential and align themselves with the wisdom of the universe. One of the primary ways in which runes are used today is for divination. Just as they were used by seers and mystics in ancient times to gain insight into the future or to understand hidden truths, modern practitioners use rune casting as a method of divining the answers to life's questions. Rune casting involves drawing a set of runes, either by throwing them onto a surface or pulling them from a pouch and interpreting their positions and meanings. When casting runes, it's important to understand their individual meanings and the energies they represent. Each rune tells a story, a message from the divine or the universe, and the position of the runes in a reading helps to interpret how those messages relate to the current situation. Many people use runes for guidance on relationships, career decisions, spiritual questions, or personal growth. The beauty of rune divination lies in its simplicity and depth. The answers are within, but the runes serve as a mirror, reflecting the hidden truths we may not be fully aware of. Another way runes are used today is for meditation and spiritual growth. Working with the runes in a meditative practice can help unlock deeper layers of consciousness and facilitate personal transformation. By meditating on a specific rune, a practitioner can connect with the energy and meaning behind it, allowing that energy to flow through their being. For example, meditating on Sowilo, the rune of the sun, can help activate vitality and bring clarity into one's life. Similarly, Algis, the protective rune, can be used in meditation to strengthen the practitioner's spiritual boundaries and shield them from negative influences. The runes can also be used to create rituals and spells, just as they were in ancient times. Rituals using the runes can be crafted to achieve specific goals, whether it's to manifest abundance, protect oneself from harm, or gain wisdom and guidance from the gods. By invoking the runes through spoken words, written inscriptions, or visualization, practitioners channel the inherent power of these symbols into their lives. For example, writing a rune on a candle during a ritual can activate the energy of that rune, while burning the candle in a sacred space can help manifest the desired intention. Rune magic can be particularly effective when working with the runes on a personal level. For example, creating a personalized talisman or amulet by carving or drawing a rune onto a piece of wood, stone, or paper, can allow the practitioner to carry the energy of that rune with them. This act of symbolic writing serves as a continual reminder of the forces they wish to invoke and manifest in their life. Whether worn as jewelry or carried in a pocket, these personalized objects serve as an energetic connection to the power of the runes. Furthermore, the runes can be used to unlock your inner potential. Each rune has its own message and its own lesson, and by working with them, practitioners can gain insights into their own subconscious mind, helping to bring clarity and understanding to their personal challenges. For example, working with the rune Rido, the rune of journey and movement, can help individuals find direction in life, encouraging them to take the steps necessary for growth. Likewise, Hagalas, the rune of disruption, can offer insight during times of chaos, helping individuals understand that transformation often comes through the destruction of the old ways. For those seeking personal empowerment, the runes offer a means to connect to their own inner power. Just as the ancient peoples used the runes to invoke the gods and shape their own fates, modern practitioners can use the runes as a means to tap into their own potential for transformation and self-mastery. By learning to align with the energy of each rune, individuals can become more attuned to their own abilities and strengths, unlocking the wisdom and power within themselves. Though their usage has changed over the centuries, the legacy of the runes continues to thrive in modern spiritual practices, proving that these ancient symbols hold an enduring power and relevance. In today's world, where many are searching for deeper meaning, connection, and guidance, the runes offer a profound tool for unlocking hidden potential, fostering personal growth, and aligning oneself with the divine forces of the universe. The resurgence of interest in runes and their spiritual significance can be traced back to the 19th and 20th centuries, when the mystical and occult movements brought ancient symbols and practices back into the cultural spotlight. As people began to explore the deeper layers of the self and the mysteries of the universe, the runes became a key part of modern esoteric traditions, spiritual healing, and personal empowerment. One of the primary ways in which the runes have influenced modern spirituality is through their use in divination and spiritual guidance. Today, rune casting is a popular practice among those seeking clarity in their lives, a way to tap into the wisdom of the ancient gods and cosmic forces. By casting the runes, practitioners can receive answers to their questions, gain insight into the spiritual lessons they must learn, and uncover the deeper truths of their personal journey. Just as the ancient Norse and Germanic peoples used runes for divination and insight, modern practitioners use them to navigate the challenges of everyday life. The runes are seen as symbols of guidance, a way to access hidden knowledge and tap into the flow of energy that surrounds us. Rune readings are often used for personal reflection, understanding one's current situation, and finding direction for the future. They provide a way to connect with the divine, the archetypes of ancient wisdom, and the energies of the cosmos, all of which guide the practitioner toward greater spiritual awareness and growth. In addition to divination, the runes have become integral to contemporary rituals and spiritual practices. Many modern witches, mystics, and spiritual seekers incorporate the runes into their rituals for protection, empowerment, and transformation. Whether they are used to cast a spell, create a talisman, or invoke divine energy, the runes continue to be powerful symbols of magic and spiritual connection. One of the key reasons the runes resonate with modern practitioners is because they offer a direct, personal connection to the divine. Unlike other forms of divination or magic, the runes are seen as a way to interact with the natural world and the gods in a very intimate way. Each rune carries with it a unique vibration and energy, and when used in meditation or ritual, the practitioner can attune themselves to the forces that these symbols represent. Through the runes, individuals can gain direct insight into their own soul, the mysteries of the universe, and their path in life. Additionally, the runes have become a powerful tool in personal empowerment and self-transformation. Many modern spiritual seekers use the runes to align with their inner strength and develop a deeper sense of self-awareness. Working with the runes allows individuals to tap into their own inherent power, release limiting beliefs, and embrace their true potential. Each rune serves as a tool for self-discovery, helping practitioners connect with their higher selves, their divine purpose, and their true nature. In some modern spiritual practices, the runes are also used in conjunction with other esoteric tools, such as tarot cards, crystals, or astrology, to provide a more comprehensive system of guidance. The combination of these tools enhances the depth of spiritual insights and helps the practitioner navigate the complexities of life. For example, a rune reading might be used alongside tarot cards to reveal a deeper layer of understanding, offering a holistic view of the spiritual journey. The runes are also an important part of modern occultism and esotericism, where they serve as a means of exploring the mysteries of the universe, accessing hidden knowledge, and connecting with ancient wisdom. Contemporary occultists and mystics study the runes as a way of understanding the deeper workings of the universe and the forces that shape our existence. The runes are a gateway to the divine, and by studying them, practitioners can unlock the sacred secrets of the cosmos. While the runes have their roots in ancient cultures, their legacy continues to thrive in modern spiritual practices, adapting to the needs and desires of the contemporary seeker. They provide a link to the divine, an anchor for personal empowerment, and a means of spiritual growth. Whether used for divination, protection, empowerment, or personal transformation, the runes remain a timeless and powerful tool for anyone seeking deeper meaning and connection with the divine.